Okay, so in the next step, I can write h of z equal to, now I can split this into two parts. One will be z raised to minus n and the second will be z raised to k, out of which z raised to k will remain inside the summation because summation variable is k, but z raised to minus n can be taken outside. So h of z will become z raised to minus n into summation ak z raised to plus k divided by summation ak z raised to minus k. In both the cases, k will vary from 0 to n. Okay, next I'm saying that let a of z be equal to summation ak z raised to minus k, where k will vary from 0 to n. So I'm making this substitution. I'm going to replace the denominator, which is summation ak z raised to minus k, with a notation a of z. So a of z represents the entire denominator polynomial. So we get h of z equal to z raised to minus n remains, denominator becomes a of z. If denominator becomes a of z, what will be numerator? You can see numerator and denominator are exactly same, with the only difference that here we had z inverse and here there is no z inverse, it is simple z with positive power. So if denominator is a of z, then it is very obvious that if I define a of z inverse will be what? It will be summation ak. I'll have to replace z with z inverse, and z inverse raised to minus 1 will make it z. So the denominator is a of z and the numerator will be a of z inverse. So it's the same polynomial, just that numerator will be in the form of z inverse, the denominator is written in the form of a of z. So that's my h of z finally. Alright, so let's do the remaining analysis and come to one very important conclusion. We have got h of z equal to z raised to minus a of z inverse upon a of z. Now if I replace z with z inverse, in that case I can define h of z inverse. So everywhere we have z inverse will become z, and everywhere we have z will become z inverse, because I am simply replacing z with z inverse. So z raised to minus n will become z raised to plus n, numerator will become a of z, and the denominator, which is a of z, will become a of z inverse. So what we have got is h of z inverse. Now why did we find h of z inverse? That is because magnitude square function mod h of omega square can also be defined as h of z into h of z inverse. So if I do that, h of z is z raised to minus n into a z inverse upon a of z into a z inverse is z raised to n into a of z upon a of z inverse. You can see that z raised to minus n into z raised to plus n will give you z raised to 0, which will be 1. A z inverse will cancel out, a of z will cancel out. So finally I'm going to get mod h of omega squared equal to 1. Now if that is the case, and if I take the square root, then mod of h of omega will be equal to 1. So according to definition, the filter that we had taken becomes an all-pass filter. So the most general form of an all-pass filter is this particular h of z, something that we had taken initially. So all you have to look for is the order in which the coefficients are occurring in numerator and denominator. If they are occurring in the reverse order, and if the both polynomials are of the same degree, then it becomes an all-pass filter. So if I give you an example, let's say if I write h of z equal to, let's say if I write numerator as 3 plus 2z inverse plus z raised to minus 2 divided by, the denominator has to be having coefficients appearing in the reverse order. So first coefficient I'll take 1, so it will be 1 here, plus second coefficient is 2, so 2z inverse, and the third coefficient has to be 3 z raised to minus 2. So you can see this will become an all-pass filter. So you may not even check whether it is all-pass or not by putting z equal to e raised to j omega and by finding mod of h of omega. All you have to look for is the way in which the numerator and denominator coefficients are occurring. So if you want single pole and single zero all-pass filter, then h of z will be nothing but a plus z inverse upon 1 plus a z inverse. This is the simplest form of an all pass filter.